Hi friends, welcome to Crack Grade B. In this lecture, we are going to see one of the important notification that RBI has released on virtual currency. But before we get to know what RBI has to say on virtual currency, we should know what virtual currency is. So let's begin by knowing what virtual currency is. So you might have heard the name of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. All these are example of virtual currency or cryptocurrency. Now, Bitcoin being the popular one and is highest valued at present. What is the definition? So, the definition is a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is secured by cryptograph, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. Many cryptocurrencies are decentralized network based on blockchain technology, a distributed ledger enforced by a disparate network of computers. So this sounds too much of technical. Let us not get and understand what it is. Let us decode and understand. So virtual currency of Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Okay, this is secured by cryptograph, which makes it impossible to counterfeit or double spend. How? I'm telling you. Now, every Bitcoin carries a unique identity, and this identity is being given by the technology called blockchain, which has a distributed ledger, and this ledger is managed by a network of computers. So networks of computers. So there are not one computer. There are thousands and millions of computers in the entire world that are connected through the internet that manages this technology. Okay. So blockchain is a kind of database. Now, when you see database means there is some data into it. What kind of data? Data is the uniqueness. So every Bitcoin has two important things. Number one, it carries a unique identity. Number two, it knows about who the owner is. So that is how it becomes impossible to counterfeit or double spend. Let us take an example. So let's say I have a piece of Bitcoin, okay, and I want to uh, give half part to you. So to do that, what I need to do, I need to break down into 10 equal pieces. Then I will give it 5 pieces to you and I'll keep 5 pieces with me. So when I want to do that, when I place a request, this network of computer or the blockchain technology, what it will do, it will break this single piece of Bitcoin into 10 equal pieces, and that single piece carried one unique identity and the owner name, that is me. Let's suppose person A. Now, when this was broken into 10 equal pieces by the blockchain technology, every piece now carries a unique identity. Every piece carries a unique identity, and when I transfer 5 pieces to you, the blockchain or the ledger or the database of this network of computer will know that this one coin is broken into 10 equal parts by the person A, and the person A has transferred 5 parts to the person B. So this blockchain or the network of computer will know that who is the new owner. The new owner is person B, and he holds the 5 equal parts of that one Bitcoin that the person A was holding. So this is how it becomes impossible to counterfeit or double spend. Now, how does this technology works? So that is something way too much technical. But if you want to understand how does this Bitcoin technology works, do comment in the comment section. I will be happy to make a video on how does this blockchain technology works. So there are blocks. By the name itself, it is clear. So there are blocks, and every blocks carries a height. So if you want to, if someone wants to hack into this system, he will have to spend huge amount of money to get to know how big the blocks are, because this Bitcoin has become too much. So when it has initially started, maybe it had only one or two owners, but now there are millions and billions of owners. So this blockchain technology carries the data of this millions and billions of people, and every data is unique because every owner is unique. Every Bitcoin they hold, it carries a unique identity. So the height of the blocks have become way too much high. So don't consider it something physical. Everything is happening in the system, in the network of computer. So you might have seen somewhere in the photos of servers, right? So there are very big rooms, air conditioning rooms, and there are networks or networks of computer. Like you can imagine Google data center or Microsoft data center or Amazon data center. So that are data centers. But this is also a data center, but this is not in that way. So this is completely a new technology known as blockchain technology, where it don't requires that big room that all computers placed in all together. So under the blockchain technology, so there are millions of billions of computers attached to each other, but they are not in one place. Let's say I hold a Bitcoin, and when I do the transaction using my own computer, my computers becomes a part of that network. Okay, so let's not get into that technical. And when you see this Ethereum is being mined. So many people mine it in their home using the graphics card. So let's not get into that technical. If you want a video on how this blockchain technology works, I can explain you on a separate video. But for time being, I hope you have understood what blockchain technology is, what virtual currency is, and how it becomes impossible to counterfeit or double spend. Okay, due to this blockchain technology, many people sees it as a revolution for the economy and for the banking industry, because that will uh, make nearly impossible to hack any banking system. And when this happens, the banking system becomes much more secured. It is secured although today as well, but in different terms. So many firewalls are there who are blocking different type of attacks, but blockchain cannot be attacked. So this is the difference. Now let's get back to our main lecture, that is the RBI notification. But before we see, let us understand the chronology on what does RBI has to say it from the beginning. So to go back, let us go back in 2018, that is 6th of April 2018, RBI released a notification which says prohibition on dealing in virtual currencies. Then on March 2020, a Supreme Court judgment comes. Now what is this judgment all about? We will see in the upcoming slides. Then next, there are few banks, private sector and public sector, sending emails to customers. What kind of emails? We are going to see in upcoming slides. Then final down the line, on this May 31st, 2021, RBI comes up with a notification. That is what we are going to learn regarding customer due diligence for transaction in virtual currency. Now, what RBI has to say. Let us understand each of them in a detailed manner in the form of story. On 6th of April 2018, what RBI has said. So from the very long time, RBI has been cautioning users regarding the risks involved in dealing with virtual currencies. So you can read it. So from 2013 and in 2017, then finally on 2018, RBI came up where RBI said that with immediate effect, all the financial institutions under my regulatory preview are not allowed to deal in virtual currency or provide service regarding any kind of virtual currencies. So then it goes ahead and says that any entity who are doing that kind of service, I mean who are providing any service regarding virtual currency, shall exit their relationship within 3 months from the date of circular. So this is something very important to understand. But you know, some of the important facts. The important fact is what RBI gave. RBI said that regarding various risks associated in dealing. So RBI on 6th of April 2018 prohibited, but it did not give any specific reason, whereas it generalized it by saying various risks regarding various risks associated in dealing. That is what the RBI said. So no specific reason on why RBI is banning this virtual currency. Maybe something related to regulation, or maybe something bad on the economy. RBI did not give any specific reason. It has generalized. So this is the important points that I have highlighted. So in 2018, RBI said anyone who are into this relationship shall exit the business within 3 months from the date of circular. This is what RBI said in 2018. Now, what happened in March 4, 2020? So when you see a judgment, so there has to be a case. Now, the case is between Internet and Mobile Association of India versus Reserve Bank of India. So now, who is Internet and Mobile Association of India? They are the entity who manages the cryptocurrency network in India. So when the RBI has prohibited, they went ahead and when the RBI has prohibited on 2018, they went ahead against the RBI circular into the Supreme Court and they won the case. So what Honorable Supreme Court said on 4th of March 2020 was, they gave the judgment where Reserve Bank of India circular of virtual currency dated 6th of April 2018 was voided by the Honorable Court. Now, what court had said? The court found that the banking system was the lifeline of virtual currency. After the judgment, banks are no longer prohibited from facilitating virtual currency transactions subject to existing due diligence norm. So, due diligence is something that RBI can decide, but that notification of April 6, 2018 was voided by the court. Now, court has given some of the specific while giving the judgment. That is, the court found that the circular was disappropriate restriction on fundamental rights, since among other reasons. Now let us see. The RBI had not shown that virtual currency trading was hammering its regulated entities. Now go back and remember, on the 6th April 2018, RBI just gave the generalized reason to ban it. It did not give any specific reason. That is what the court said. RBI had not shown that the virtual currency trading was hammering its regulated entity. Now, second point, what the Honorable Court has said was, virtual currency trading is an activity not banned under any law. So there is no specific law where the government of India or the parliament has enacted a law where it says that virtual currency, you cannot, means the Indian citizen cannot deal in the virtual currency following this law. So there is no specific law. And the third point that the Honorable Court has said was, there was no finding of any defect in the manner that virtual currency exchange operates. So there are very few, or there are no specifics of any defect regarding virtual currency, since it is backed by such a strong technology where that fraud cannot happen. Okay, so virtual currency is not banned in many countries, although many countries are into the favor. Many central banks are into the favor that virtual currency will hamper their monetary authority. So they cannot have a control over the virtual currency transactions or virtual currency holdings. So that is why many central banks are coming out with the paper, coming out with the many journals where they are asking people to give some preview for it. So that is altogether a different thing. But what court had said that there is no finding, I mean there is no ground of any defect in the manner that virtual currency exchange operates, right? So there is no details of any fraud that has happened in the past. So this is what the court has said under its judgment and has voided the April 6, 2018 RBI notification that we have seen in the last slide. So these are the important line, and this 3 points are important because this is what the Supreme Court has said. Now let's move ahead in the timeline. What we see, banks sending email to customer. Now who are these banks? These are some public sectors bank like State Bank of India and private bank like the HDFC Bank. So what they are doing, they are sending emails to customers like this. What kind of emails? State Bank of India and HDFC Bank cautioned their customers against dealing in virtual currencies such as Bitcoin, citing the April 2018 order of RBI. Okay, so what bank are doing are, they have not, followed the Supreme Court judgment where it has voided the April 2018 order of the RBI. So what they are doing, they are sending emails to customer where they are saying, don't deal with this Bitcoins and all because RBI has already banned it, so we will not deal it. समझ में आ रहा है? ये दोनों बैंक ने कस्टमर्स को ईमेल भेजा ये बोल के कि डू नॉट डू एनी ट्रांजैक्शन or something like that, means they are again prohibiting the customers that they should not deal with VCs, citing 2018 order of the RBI. But the problem arises from this email. What kind of problem? Because the Honorable Supreme Court has already voided this April 2018 order, right? So let's see down the timeline. On 31st May 2021, when RBI got to know about this kind of emails that bank are sending and citing their order of 6th April 2018, which the Supreme Court has already voided, RBI came up with a new notification that names customer due diligence for transaction in virtual currencies. This notification says, see, the first thing what RBI says, it has come to our attention through media reports that certain banks, regulated entities have cautioned their customers against dealing in virtual currency by making a reference to RBI circular dated April 6, 2018. Such reference to the above circular by banks are not in order, as the circular was set aside by the Honorable Supreme Court on March 4, 2020. So this is what RBI says in its new notification on 31st May 2021. Okay, so bank cannot cite that circular because the court has already voided it on March 4, 2020. So when the court has voided it, that becomes null and void. So no one can cite it. Even the RBI cannot cite it for its future purpose because that is voided by the court. Now, what the court has said? Court has said yes. Following other means. It has voided the entire thing, but has said that RBI can do it following other due diligence norm. So picking up from the court's order, RBI again continues in this new order and says banks as well as the other entities addressed above may however continue to carry out customer due diligence process in line with regulation governing standards for KYC, AML, combating of finance, terrorism and obligation of regulated entities under PMLA Act 2002, in addition with the compliance under FEMA Act, right? So RBI has followed both the things. Where the court has said to null and void that, in the para 1, RBI has cautioned all the banks that it cannot cite April 6, 2018 order, and the court has said about the due diligence procedure, RBI has picked up from there, and under the para 2 it said it can continue the due diligence process in line with all the rules and regulations that RBI gave from time to time, and this PMLA and FEMA has come up from the parliament or from the government of India. So whatever rules have been laid down in this acts of the parliament or and any circulars of the Reserve Bank of India, they have to follow that due diligence and they can continue their business. So this is what the May 31st 2021 notification says all about. So if you read this all alone, you will find many things disconnected. So if you see this video like in a story, what happened in 2018, what happened in 2002, what happened in 2020, then what happened very recently where banks sends email to customers, then what has triggered RBI to issue this notification. You will get to understand the entire chronology. Then these are some of the important points that I have highlighted. Go through it. Then on 4th May, HDFC Bank withdraws the communication. So this is something that HDFC Bank did after it followed the RBI latest notification of 31st May. Okay, so on May 28, 2021, this HDFC Bank has sent the email, and on 4th May, HDFC Bank withdraws the communication. Why? Because on 31st May 2021, RBI came up with a new notification where it said it cannot cite the report of April 6th, 2018. So this was all about this lecture. Hope you have understood it and enjoyed it. Now let me take you through our course and our performance. If you see NABARD Grade A 2019 and NABARD Grade B 2019 Phase 1 and Phase 2, you can see that more than 80% question in the Phase 1 and 73% of the question in the phase 2 are covered in our study material. So this shows the quality, this shows the analysis that we do of the previous year paper and overall what is going all around, and we prepare our study material accordingly. So if you see in 2020 also, our study material has covered more than 70% of the questions that are asked in the real paper. This shows how cautiously we prepare our study material. So by this, let me take you through our course that are listed in our website. Do visit the website. So this is the most economical course that you can find for NABARD grade A, which covers the mocks as well for rupees 2499, and for NABARD grade B including mocks is 3499. Do visit the website www.crackgradeb.com. Now let me take you through some of the courses that are listed on our website, that is RBI Grade B, SEBI Grade A, IRDI Assistant Manager, NABARD Grade A and Grade B, FSI Technical Officer, and UPSC Enforcement Officers exam. So by this we have come to the end of this lecture. Thank you and happy learning.